Several years ago, I was traveling home on a plane from Colorado Springs, and flying is not my favorite thing in the world to do, so I tend to keep to myself on airplanes. Well, this particular flight was rather long, and I found myself sitting next to a man who was pretty friendly, and sometimes that's not my favorite thing because I just need to be nervous and be myself, but I was actually really glad for the distraction. As we were talking, it was really interesting. This man was pretty curious, and he asked me a lot of different questions. One of the questions he asked me took me by great surprise. He asked me, "What's your life motto?" And in the moment, I tried not to laugh because I think the last time someone maybe asked me that, I was probably 13 years old in middle school, but when he said it, I really started to think, and the more I thought about that question, the more I realized the answer is actually really important. Lately, I've really been thinking about the very first book of the Bible, in Genesis. The first thing that we learn about God is that He made art. In the beginning, God created. And the very first thing we know about us is we were made in His image. And so it seems to me that the fact that God put art as His highest priority, the very first thing that He decided to do in all of creation was to make art, was to make the world. And so the fact that I'm made in His image feels like a really important thing to know about myself. So when this man on the airplane asked me, "What is your life motto?" that verse in Genesis came to mind. And what came out of my mouth surprised me, probably as much as it did him, because I took his question seriously. And I said, I just want to live my life less like a list and more like a lyric. If you think about the way that we normally live our lives, at least the way that I live my life, I tend to make a to-do list in the morning and I want to run through it and I want to get everything done. And by the end of the day, sometimes I measure my days whether or not I was able to do it that way. But a lot of times if I'm continuing to live my life that way, what happens is I sort of move through life like a robot, like a stiff robot. Do this, do that, must do this, must do that. And I wonder, did I really live today? Or did I just follow a set of things I needed to do, the thing I needed to do next? When I think about the way that God made the world, He made it as an artist and I'm made in His image, and that must mean something about the way I live my life. And so really the question becomes less about, well, who is an artist? Because the truth is, if you're made in the image of a creative God, well, you're the artist, and so am I. And so the question is not so much who's the artist, the question becomes, who are you?